Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Authentically Albertan. I am here with 6 Degrees. I am here with Andrea. Andrea, you do voice directing, composing, and you produce. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Has it been a busy season here at 6 Degrees?
Yeah, it has been busy. Our work tends to ebb and flow a little bit. Like, we'll get waves of a lot of work and then it will slow down and you never really know how to predict it. But generally, the last few months have been pretty busy. So we've been lucky.
That's great. Yeah. Well, Calgary's always growing in the art department, in the film department.
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of shows are coming here. Lots of independent stuff. I mean, that's how I heard about you guys. You know, my friends from the indie scene of film, they're like, hey, you should check out this post sound house that works with us whenever we need our indie films, you know.
Yeah.
Their sound needs to be edited, some voice lines need to be recorded, some music needs to be composed. So I think that's great that you found kind of like a place here in Calgary to provide that service.
Yeah, we do. We do quite a bit of commercial work, corporate videos, long play, TV, film. We always try to support local filmmakers. So if someone comes to us with a project that maybe is, a passion project with maybe a lower budget, or they just need some help, we always try, if we can, to help those projects. Like, we feel that it's really important to grow a local base that's really solid and, keep people here. Like, people come here, they get an education, they enter the industry, and we don't want them to leave. Like, we want them to stay here and help grow it locally in Alberta.
If you weren't all those things I listed you were, voice directing, composing, producing, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
Gosh, I don't know, probably some other music thing, like maybe teaching or performing more. I think I always wanted to pursue music, so it was sort of like a no choice special for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I would probably be, maybe teaching. Like, I also love teaching. I love people, something to do with people and maybe kids.
Kind of interacting with them, teaching them. That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that aspect of teaching others kind of lends its way here when you're directing, when you're producing?
Yeah, I think maybe the aspect of, like, with directing, like, you're really working a lot with others, and so much of, for me, like, voice directing, so directing voiceovers for commercial projects, or, it's usually commercial, sometimes for a film or something else. It really is, like, getting to know a person, what they have to offer, and then kind of helping them to get to where you want to get to. So a lot of it is around, like, communicating with them and figuring out what they can do and how you can push them in the right way, and how you can get them feeling confident in the booth and showcasing their abilities.
How long has 6 Degrees been around for?
It's like, I want to say 25, 30 years. It's been around for a while.
Wow.
Used to have a different name. And I mean, I've been here since 2008. So you can do the math on that.
Yeah, long
Many
time.
years.
About 17 years.
Yeah, 17 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Since you've been here, how has it all changed? What have you guys expanded into?
Yeah, when I started here, we were smaller. We had less people doing more roles each, I would say. I think we've grown so that our, like I said, our sort of casting and talent side has grown. So we have a dedicated, casting director role. We have a dedicated producer role, so they would be the person who, is the client contact and, like, quotes jobs and oversees jobs. It's not producer in, like, music producer, it's producer in, like, the ad agency world. So it's a little bit of a difference, like production coordination.
The organizer of things.
Yeah, so we've got that role. We have yeah, we have, I think, more engineers than when I started. We haven't grown too much in terms of the number of people, but I just feel like we've sort of expanded. Just as a company, I feel like physically we've changed. Like we used to be still in this building, but on 2 floors, and we renovated this space.
Okay.
A few years back. We moved all up to the 3rd floor. We no longer are sharing with another tenant up here, and we basically built our whole studio just on this floor. So we have an Atmos mixing space, which is really exciting. And yeah.
Tell us more about you. When you're not here in the studio composing, what are you up to?
I play in a band called Vale Halen.
Okay, what type of music?
An indie rock type band.
Yeah.
Just with some good friends of mine. It's really fun. We play a lot at like Palomino and The Ship. I am a mom. I have 2 young kids. So that's pretty busy. Like I would say that takes a lot of my time.
It's like another work right there.
Yeah,
like
it's
there's
pretty
this
involved.
And then there's that.
So usually like people ask me what's new and it's like I'm working or I'm parenting, and that's that's kind of the 2 things that I am doing at this stage in my life. Yeah, I think like that's really my.
And what
2
instruments
things.
do you play in the band?
I play synth, like this little synthesizer. Yeah, and so I play like kind of like Patty synthy, textural elements.
Gotcha.
I sing backup vocals as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other instruments do you play aside from that?
So I play piano. I grew up like
Okay.
I studied voice and piano. I play guitar. I went to university for voice, so that was like my major. And then I quickly realized that like vocal performance wasn't really right for me. Like I feel like you have to have this like real desire to be center stage and performing, and it's like
To be the spotlight of the show?
yeah, and it was just like I think being surrounded by people where that is their truth made me realize it wasn't my truth, and like I found it I found the pressure to be a lot, and so I took a theory class and then I took a composition class, and I instantly like fell in love with that side of it.
Music composition.
Yeah,
all
like
that.
theory, analyzing music, writing music, like it was all so awesome. And so I switched my majors. I switched into theory composition, and then I ended up doing a master's in just composition. I just knew that I loved music. I wanted to study it. I wanted to pursue it, and like
Want to see
something
where it
would
went.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the thing. Like, I don't know. I had a teacher who told me, if you can, when I was trying to decide what to pursue in school, like in university, I had a teacher who said, if it's music and something else, like if you're trying to decide between 2 things, do the something else, because then you can still do music and enjoy it. But like as soon as music is your
life
and
thing.
your bread and butter, and like that's it, it's like it can change your relationship with it. And I thought that, like, at the time I thought that was weird advice and felt negative, but I think it actually was really good advice, because it's like it's hard to pursue music as a career, and like you have to have a level of like desire and passion for it that is really undeniable.
And also like a sense of who you are too, like a very strong sense on how you can stand out. You can use it to stand out. Like once you discover it, really, really stand out, where people turn on the radio and they recognize your vocals immediately.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like you have to, like what is your voice? What is your point of view? I think it's funny, like I've struggled with that because like I'm a composer for clients, for picture, right? So clients will come to me and say, I want, like, I'm creating this film. I want the music, I want the score to be really like indie folk. Like I love indie folk. I want like so much acoustic guitar. I want it to feel like you wrote everything on a little Casio keyboard. Like this is what I want. Okay, so great. And then I might have a client who's like, I want an epic orchestral score. I wanted to
Braveheart
be,
type stuff.
yeah, big and epic and, you know, strings and brass. And so I feel like for me, I really have to be a chameleon. Like I have to be able to adjust my style and my, like, you know, my genre or my abilities to really fit a project.
Yeah.
And that's just, I think, inherent in like scoring for picture. It's very much what I do and what Alec, who I work with here, does. But within that, like, you do need to have a signature style or a voice or something that makes you unique. And that can also be such an asset, because then, you know, it can set you apart from others, and it can make people seek you out, and it can it can encourage people to seek you out for what you do best, right? Which is like just so much more natural. So I feel torn between those two things sometimes, and I feel like probably like yeah,
how you can stand out and also how you can deliver to people.
Yeah, like, and maybe like once you're, you know, like Hans Zimmer, you can be like, this is my style, and then people come see, or, you know, like Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, like they have a really specific style of writing, and I feel like you hear their score and you're like, okay, that's them, and people seek them out because that's what they want. But like they're, you know, they're very famous composers, so I think it's important to be able to be like really versatile as a composer, like to make it in this industry. Like you have to be able to evolve and like create different genres. Yeah. But you also need to be like writing for yourself and writing what fits you and finding ways that you can bring your own uniqueness to it. You know, so it's a mix, I think, for this stage of where I'm at as a composer.
Going back to developing your signature style, when you were a kid, could you remember sort of like what movies really had that composition that stuck with you, those soundtracks? Were you always a musical kid back in high school?
Yeah, I was always super musical. But like growing up, I didn't really even think about the fact that you could be a composer for picture. Like it wasn't even on my radar. I think I loved singing. I loved songwriting. I'd say I was more like informed by by writers, like songwriters, like, you know, Carole King or I don't know. Like I think my first album that I ever bought was like ABBA. I think it was ABBA and Carole King. But yeah, I think that informed me more. And then I went to school because I just loved music and I knew I wanted to pursue it. But it didn't occur to me that you could write for film or like that could be a career, you know, until I was graduating and like needed to find a job and found 6 degrees. Applied to work here, and I started as like I would source music. At the time they were all on like needle drop music was all on CDs, and you had to like load in the CD and like choose what you wanted.
There's no streaming services, nothing like that.
No, it was like totally different. So yeah, I would source music, I would do castings, I would get copies, like I would do all the things that needed to be done. And I didn't like really think about writing to picture until like one of my jobs was to get demos for projects when they came in, like get composer demos. So like we had to do a jingle for plentyoffish.com. Like that was a job that came in. So
Is
my
it still
job
around?
I don't think so.
What was it?
Oh,
like,
plentyoffish.com?
yeah.
Like it was like a dating service.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's like a online dating site, basically. Like back when they were not so common.
So you were giving this jingle. And
Yeah,
you're
we
like, how do I
created
make
jingle.
a jingle for a dating site?
Yeah, so that was the ask, right? And
Yeah.
so my job was to reach out to some composers in our network of composers and get them to submit demos, and then we were going to give the demos to the client and they would decide what they wanted to go with. So I got the demos, and then I went home that night and I like wrote my own demo and submitted it, and then they liked it, and then I was like, okay, like I want to do more of this. And then Bruce, who was one of the composers here, gave me his Logic like downloads to put onto my computer, and I started messing around with Logic, and it just sort of evolved from there. Like I just started getting some opportunities here and like throwing my hat in the ring, and it really evolved, and I like made a point to take every opportunity I possibly could, you know, like
Right.
anything that came in I would like try to write something for,
Was
even
there
if it
a-
wasn't right for me.
Was there ever a mentor here in 6 Degrees who kind of guided you through composition, through movie composition?
Yeah, like I've been so lucky. So Bruce, who was a composer here, was sort of the first person who was like, you should get Logic. So he'd put Logic on my computer and help me. And Alec, who's my like co-composer here now, was like, has just been like such a mentor and help, and like he's the guy who I call when I can't figure out how to like output this thing, and what should this be split stereo or interleaved, or what am I doing? And he's just been like awesome. And then Dan McManus, who is now my business partner here, is just like, I'd say that he just is a natural mentor. Like it's just I'd say his success in life is like the success of those around him. Like he truly wants other people to succeed, and he like he I'd say expected me to work really hard for these opportunities, but also like he always gave these opportunities to me. Like, so I've just been really lucky. Like it's a culture here of collaboration and of mentorship.
As a producer, how do you keep everything organized? Is that one of the biggest challenges that you find?
Yeah, I'm like a note person. Like I have books and notes, and I write everything down. I have a couple colleagues who I won't name, but like we were on a Zoom call the other day, and he didn't write a single thing down. We were getting a bunch of feedback, and I'm like, how are you retaining this information? And he's like, just all in here, I got it. And he did, he like remembered it all, but I just, I write things down. I do feel like I wear a lot of hats here, but I'm also really lucky in that, like, if I'm consumed with a composition project, Dan or Christian, like, will do more of the directing, or others can pick up the slack, which again is like the lovely part about being in this company. Like we really try to cover for each other. Christian runs the intensive program in the summer, and then like Dan or I will do more of the directing, and I'd say it just kind of flows around what's happening in the work. So I think I'm organized with like systems and notes. And
but even in the post-production workflow, it's essential to be organized.
Yeah, totally.
Because I've met some editors that they pass a project on to others, and it's all like a mess in there. It's like a maze. You're trying to get some files, you're trying to find some bins.
Yeah.
No, that's one of the things that was hammered onto us back at SAIT, back in post-secondary, was always being organized.
Well,
you get graded on it too.
Do you?
Yeah. If you didn't put like your certain information on certain bins, like that would cost you a point.
Wow.
And it's
crazy.
one of the things that stuck with me. You know, when I'm editing
That's
videos
good.
and such,
Yeah.
I always started like they taught me over there.
It's good.
Because I don't want to lose marks.
Yeah, you develop your systems, right? Like, like you color code your sessions, or you label things a certain way, or like Alec, who I work with, in his Logic sessions, he's got like little icons for each instrument, and then everything is like perfectly color coded, and mine is like more just kind of not, and I always fix it at the end, or try to fix it at the end. But like when you're in a creative process, it's hard to stop and be like, I need to organize this properly, or I need to label this properly, or, oh, I need to do my backups today. Like, you know, all these things are not necessarily like top of mind. So
backups are super essential.
Yeah.
Very essential.
Yeah.
How'd you get into voice directing?
So I started here, and I like, it's just a part of our business. So
Right.
I just got into it from working here, from working with clients, and then starting to direct talent. And honestly, like, it's the part of my job that I find that, like, the hardest. I don't have a theater background, so I've really worked hard to, like, hone my directing abilities, and I think I do come at it from a different place than, you know, the other directors here would.
Do a lot of directors here have a theatrical background?
No, but typically, like, they might, or like Christian is an incredible theater actor and has a like an amazing theater career under his belt, right? So he already has, like, this experience and this respect from the local acting community. Like, he's I'd say quite, like, respected and revered by the community. So, you know, I think for me, a lot of it has been about, like, learning how to communicate with talent and learning how to get what you need for a project out of a talent. And a lot of voice direction in our world is also, like, again, communicating with the client and, like, figuring out what it is they're looking for, and then, like, figuring out how you can push it that much further. Like, if you get to take 5 and you're like, that was good, it's like, how can we make this great? What can we try differently?
What do you usually
have
try
we not
differently?
thought of? Like, it's, you know, it's like, maybe it's a different speed, maybe it's a different, like, emotional intent. Maybe if they're reading it with a ton of confidence, maybe it's like, should this be more of an intimate read? Like it's really just, like, pushing and playing in session and, like, taking the stress of a session away so you can really, like, just play and you can really find, like, the emotional core of a story. And I think, like, for me, it's always about finding, like, you can hear the difference between, like, someone just reading a script and someone believing and owning a script. And so it's really, like, how do you get this talent to, like, own this so it feels, like, as authentic as possible? And I don't think I think people are shying away from, like, you know, those, like, big announcer voices of the past. And I think people want voices that feel real.
Yeah.
And feel authentic and feel like
relatable.
Yeah, like, you're a relatable, real person. And I feel like, you know, like, sometimes we'll have, you know, like, celebrity voiceovers, and you listen and you're like, this is good, but, like, this is just a celebrity voice. But, like, I worked with this talent the other day who'd been in the booth 3 times and got this magical performance, and it was just so real and authentic. And, like, that to me is, like, more exciting in some ways. Like, it's just, yeah, it's really cool when you, like, get to the core of someone in the booth. And yeah, and I think too, like, music helps with voiceover direction, because a lot of it is, like, your ability to hear inflection. So, like, if I said to a talent, can you land at the end of this phrase? Like, can you land this? And then, like, can you upswing this bit? Or, like sometimes it's just, like,
what do you mean upswing?
Like,
what do you mean land?
Landing is, like, you know, if you're saying a URL, like, visit, like, 6degrees.com, right? Like, you've landed it. Or, like, visit 6degrees.com. It's like, you've inflected up. Like, but some people, it's harder for them to hear that or do that with their voice. So, like, I feel like there are more technical talent who just are, like, technicians, and, like, that's what they do, and they understand the voice, and they understand how to speak, and they understand how to inflect. And then there's talent who are just, like, it's more about, like, the emotion behind what they're saying and the intention. And, like, I will communicate differently sometimes based on, like, who the talent is and like what they're bringing.
Exactly. You know, different types of encouragement or strategies that you can use to bring out that performance with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, again, it's nerve-wracking, right? So sometimes it's just about like getting them comfortable in the room and like getting them to find their breath and like just, find a place of just authenticity.
Are there any projects right now that you're composing for that you're really excited?
Yeah, I'm gonna be working on a 6-part like crime drama series coming up, and I'm working on a flying ride right now, so like an amusement park style flying ride where you fly over footage.
Okay.
We did fly over Canada last year, so this is kind of a similar vibe. It's like basically they're building this flying ride, and you go and you sit and the seats move and there's wind and mist, and you feel like you're physically flying. So that's I'd say it's like a dream project for a composer, because you get to just score it. You know, like you're just writing, and you have to write with the ebbs and the flows of the ride and the motion and the movement, but also the score needs to be epic and exciting. And we got to record a live orchestra with the Budapest Symphony Orchestra, which was super cool. And
did they come over here, or did they?
No, like they recorded over Zoom, and we listened over Zoom. Well, they recorded there, and we listened over Zoom, and then they sent us the files. And yeah, like there are Eastern European orchestras that do this pretty regularly. So yeah, that's been really cool. And I just finished scoring an indie film called Do Us Part. Had an incredible cast, like Michelle Thrush, Telly James. There's a local creator, director, Catherine Rawlinson, who produced it. And then, she didn't direct it, she produced it. And then Claire Prouse, I'm not gonna say her name right, from Downstage Productions, directed it. So I'm pretty excited about that. So it's been a busy little run of composition work, which has been really nice.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun and a lot of different projects to really get your claws on, you know.
Totally.
See where your creativity leads you. Have you ever done video games?
I have not. Alec, who I work with, I think has dabbled in some video game work before. We'd obviously love to do video games. Like it would be awesome and so fun. I think a lot of like the big game companies have in-house composers or in-house audio, like post audio or audio people. But yeah, obviously that would be very cool.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally. Like all the different scenarios and iterations of a theme, and the sound design would be amazing too.
Exactly, the scenarios, you know, when you're in a dungeon, when it's nighttime, when it's daytime, when you're in a city, on a tavern.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I'm a big fan of the Elder Scrolls series, and that's like medieval fantasy stuff. So you got dragons, you got medieval cities, you got taverns, you got inns, you got combat scenarios, different environments happening throughout. So really, really hats off to those composers, you know, that we gotta prepare for all that and still keep it consistent.
Yeah.
So
it's tough. And keep it consistent. Yeah, it is tough.
You know, with all these accomplishments, what does success mean to you?
What does it mean? What does it mean to me in terms of like, how do I know that I've been successful, or like how important is it to me?
How do you know that you've been successful?
I think if I think of my kids, and I think of, you know, am I like proud to show them what I have been doing? I think that to me is success, and like, you know, the fact that I get to enjoy coming to work and do what I do to me is success. I think growing a company here locally and like finding opportunities for people to work here and to grow themselves and to evolve within Six, that feels like success to me, you know, like something I'm proud of. I think if I get to keep writing and collaborating and working and growing, I think that would be what it is to me. that make sense? I'll give you like 4 different answers.
Well, there's a lot that goes into success, so I can definitely see that. You know, it's about work, it's about kind of leaving a legacy too. You mentioned your kids, showing them what you do.
Yeah.
And then building on the foundation here in Calgary, seeing where you guys go next.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where do you see the future of 6 Degrees going now?
I mean, I just want us to keep growing and evolving in the work that we do. I want to keep doing bigger projects. Oh.
That's the alarm. Here. There we go.
Yeah. I want to keep doing bigger projects and, you know, maybe more rides, more films. And I think just if the work keeps evolving and what we're doing keeps evolving, I think, yeah, that's going to be the future. Like, there's a lot happening. There's AI. There's a lot of, you know, interesting things coming down the pipe. I think the world is in disarray. Like, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I think if we can just stay on top of it and we can stay in the know and we can continue to like work really hard and build wonderful relationships with clients and collaborators, then I think, you know, that's what our future will hopefully be. So. Yeah.
Awesome. Good to hear. And then we have one final question, which we ask all our guests.
Okay.
There's no wrong answer. But if you had one word to describe yourself, which one would it be?
Oh, gosh. You just talked to me for an hour. Can you pick it? One word? Oh, gosh. I don't know. Tired. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. My kids don't sleep though, so it is true. I don't know. Let's go with like passion. Can I go with passionate?
Sure.
Okay, let's go with passionate.
It's your word. Like I said, no wrong answers.
Authentic. Let's go authentic. Because it's important to me. So I would like it to describe me because it's important to me. So
yeah,
let's go with that.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for being part of the show. Thank you so much for having us today. And yeah, it's been great getting to know 6 Degrees, getting to know your story, seeing again the equipment, the different things that go into being a voice director, a producer, a composer. I mean, it's a lot, you know. It should be very appreciated, and it's very important to hear to the community here in the city.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being part of the show.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. Thanks for reaching out to us, and yeah, good luck with your project.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for watching another episode of Authentic Albertan. We'll catch you in the next one. Stay authentic.